Good morning, listeners. I am Krishami Elor and welcome to CNN News, bringing you the eye on the news for Monday, March 6, 2023. News headlines. ACD student conduct a research for International Monetary Fund IMF history, purposes, and its project. IMF overview. The International Monetary Fund IMF is an organization of 190 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote poverty around the world. With its global membership of 190 countries, the IMF is uniquely placed to help members, government take advantage of the opportunities and manage the challenge posed by globalization. The IMF tracks global economic trends and performance, alerts its member countries when it is a problem on the horizon, provides a forum for policy dialogue, and passes on how to governments on how to tackle economic difficulties. The IMF provides policy advice and financing to members in economic difficulties and also works with developing nations to help them achieve microeconomics. History of IMF revealed today. For further details, we have our reporters Bara Wida.
First report, the history of IMF. The IMF has played a part in shaping the global economy since the end of World War II. Cooperation and reconstruction in 1944 to 1971. As the Second World War ends, the job of rebuilding national economies begins. The IMF is charged with overseeing the international monetary system to ensure exchange rate stability and encouraging members to eliminate exchange restrictions that hinder reporting. Barawidan.
The end of the Bretton Woods system in 1972 to 1981. After the system of fixed exchange rates collapses in 1971, countries are free to choose their exchange arrangement. Oil shocks occur in 1973, 1974, and 1979, and the IMF steps in to help countries deal with the consequences. Debt and payroll reforms, 1982 to 1989. The oil shocks lead to an international debt crisis, and the IMF assists in coordinating the global response, reporting Jen Dandata.
Societal change for Eastern Europe and Asian upheaval. The IMF plays a central role in helping the countries of the former Soviet bloc transition from central planning to market-driven economies. Globalization and the crisis. The implications of the continued rise of capital flows for economic policy and the stability of the international financial system are still not entirely clear. The current credit crisis in the food and oil price shock are clear signs that new challenges for the IMF are waiting just around the corner. Reporting, Genevieve Anyes.
Thank you, Agnes. Moving on to the international news.
Purpose of IMF. The International Monetary Fund is a cooperative international monetary organization whose members currently include 190 countries of the world. It was established together with the World Bank in 1945 as part of the Bretton Woods Conference convened in the aftermath of World War II. The responsibilities of the IMF derive from the basic purposes for which the institution was established as set out in Article 1 of the IMF Articles of Agreement, the character that governs all policies and activities of the IMF, to promote international cooperation through a permanent institution which provides the machinery for consultation and collaboration on international monetary problems. To facilitate the expansion and balanced growth of international trade and to contribute thereby to the promotion and maintenance of high levels of employment and real income into the development of the productive resources of all members as primary objectives of economic policy. Reporting Treasury Mel.
To promote exchange stability, to maintain orderly exchange arrangements among members, and to avoid competitive exchange depreciation. to assist in the establishment of a multilateral system of payments in respect of current transactions between members and in the elimination of foreign exchange restrictions which hamper the growth of world trade. To give confidence to members by making the general resources of the fund temporarily available to them under adequate safeguards, thus providing them with opportunities to correct maladjustments in their balance of payments without resorting to measures destructive of national or international prosperity. In accordance with the above, to shorten the duration and lessen the degree of disequilibrium in the international balances of payments of members. Reporting Berdine.
Thank you, Ms. Berdine. News with details will be shared after a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
For 125 years, we have risen together every challenge. Just like the sun that continues shine with warmth and hope. We rise to fulfill our commitment to you and support you as we surely to a bright new world.
Welcome back. We have got breaking news. IMF projects International Monetary Fund, or IMF, works to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity for all of its 190 member countries. Boss Tamante, your news anchor.
Lending. The IMF does not lend for specific projects. Instead, the International Monetary Fund provides loans to member countries experiencing actual or potential balance of payments problems to help them rebuild their international reserve, stabilize their currencies, continue paying for imports, and restore conditions for strong economic growth while correcting underlying problems. National monetary funds loans including emergency loans to member countries experiencing actual or potential balance of payments problems. This aims to help them rebuild their international reserves, stabilize their currencies, continue paying for imports, and restore conditions for strong economic growth while correcting underlying problems. Reporting. Vargas.
Surveillance. The IMF monitors the international monetary system and global economic developments to identify risks and recommend policies for growth and financial stability. The fund also undertakes a regular health check of the economic and financial policies of its 190 member countries. In addition, the IMF identifies possible risks to the economic stability of its member countries and advises their governments on possible policy adjustments. Reporting Kabalu.
Financial assistance. The IMF lends to its member countries facing balance of payments problems in order to facilitate the adjustment process and restore member countries' economic growth and stability through various loans, instruments, or facilities. An IMF loan is usually provided under an arrangement requiring a borrowing country to undertake specific policies and measures to resolve its balance of payments problem as specified in a letter of intent.
Most IMF loans are primarily financed by its member countries through payments of quotas. Thus, the IMF's lending capacity is mainly determined by the total amount of quotas. Nevertheless, if necessary, the IMF may borrow from a number of its financially strongest member countries through the new arrangements to borrow or the general arrangements to borrow.
Reporting. Gia Calyora.
IMF provides technical assistance to help member countries strengthen their capacity to design and implement effective policies in 4 areas, namely monetary and financial policies, fiscal policy and management, statistic and economic and financial legislation. In addition to technical assistance, the IMF also offers training courses and seminars to member countries at the IMF Institute in Washington, D.C., and other regional training institutes, Austria, Brazil, China, India, Singapore, Tunisia, and United Arab Emirates. This is Rizalina Aligado reporting.
Capacity development. IMF works with governments to modernize economic institutions. This helps countries strengthen economies and create jobs. IMF helps countries raise revenues, modernize banking and legal systems, improve forecasting, and enhance reporting of data. The IMF provides technical assistance and training to governments, including central banks, finance ministries, revenue administrations, and financial sector supervisory agencies. These capacity development efforts are centered on the IMF's core areas of expertise ranging from taxation through central bank operations to the reporting of macroeconomic data. Such training also helps countries tackle cross-cutting issues such as income inequality, gender equality, corruption, and climate change. Reporting. Kagib Koban.
Thank you, listeners. That's it for today. And this is ZNN News. This is Bacchus, your news anchor.
The Group 1. Thank you for listening.